Space, religion, and zealotry. Yep, these guys are totally not just a quick bit of makeup away from being the Taliban or Al-Qaeda. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Episode 6 of the Orville, Krill. There's a lot going on, a lot to unpack, and this is going to get really, really deep. It's a comedy show. I hold by that. But oh boy, was this social commentary, the likes of which even Trek is normally scared of. For those of you that don't know, I normally am examining the hows and whys of stories, looking at their themes and overall symbolism. If that sounds like it interests you, click your subscribe button right now, and of course enable alerts. Now let's get into some talk about the Orville. I've finally started getting some comments, and they're all pretty good ones. We had a little bit of a back and forth in the comment section last week and this week about exactly what it means to be a time travel show. And I have to say, I still think the Orville last week was one of the better time travel episodes. We talked a little bit about what it would mean, that whether or not that device would come back, and I will say, up till now I keep saying this is a show that doesn't have much continuity from episode to episode, but in tonight's episode there's a moment where they reference last week's I Got a New Leg. So I'll talk about that more in the spoiler section. I do especially appreciate all of the conversation about time travel. I do have an abundance of time travel shows that I seem to review, so that was very interesting. For now, though, after a quick shout out to all of them, let's throw this up and get started. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. Even for a comedy, tonight's episode should have made you feel uncomfortable. Should have made you sit there and wonder. The Krill are an enemy that we knew very little about going into this episode. They've popped up here and there. Their ships are more badass than the Orville, and they seem to be physically more powerful than humans. Two of our main characters are going undercover as Krill, and we find out that they're religious zealots. In the real world, we have religious zealots all over the place. We have people that think that their one true religion allows them to dictate what is and isn't right. On a personal level, I consider myself a religious person, so I'm not always happy with the take-that's religions get on TV shows. But I have to say that tonight's episode was very much all about how easy it is to make an alien seem like the other. Someone that is an outsider. And we have outsiders on the Orville crew. People who can be used to look at and see exactly what's going on and treat humanity as a, hey, look at that. This, however, was different. This is not looking at a comedic race or a forehead alien, no. This is looking at a group of aliens who are religious zealots. And they're perfectly fine with genocide, because the enemy doesn't have a soul. And I mean, yeah, they told jokes here and there throughout the episode. But you can forget the jokes by the end. Because in the end, you have one serious question, one serious statement that just... it's one of those things that haunts me. Just the thought of it. They went on this mission to try to find a way to find peace. When they got there, they found out that the enemy was going to destroy all of those people. They were going to wipe out an entire farming colony. So, in order to defend the farming colony, they needed to kill almost the entire crew. They let the kids live, though. They went out of their way, risked their own lives to save Krill children. And what's the thank you they get? The Krill woman asks, "Why did you save the children?" And the answer is, "Because they're not my enemy." And her answer is all too on the nose, and is all too much the very real world what happens. After what they saw today, they will be. Do you know why? Because violence begets violence, and revenge and justice get intermingled. How do you decide who's right when you sit there and you say, well, this person punched me first. Well, I only punched them because they punched me yesterday. Well, they only punched me because I punched them the day before. Except it goes back generational. Those Krill children are going to grow up and remember the fact that humans boarded their ship and killed their crew. but they're not going to remember the fact that those crew were only trying to defend their own people. Funny jokes about aliens that are stronger than their boyfriends, or aliens that can eat anything like they're some sort of cosmic goat, are lighthearted. But there was nothing lighthearted about the end of this episode. All the jokes, all the pratfalls fall silent to how horrible war can be. The first time on this channel that I asked a question of why we tell stories, it was why we tell war stories. And I said that we primarily tell them because they're anti-war stories. I did this whole big thing about A Song of Ice and Fire and the Babylon 5 being the same. Well, you know what? This show puts them all to shame. Because point blank, they just showed us the horrors of war with jokes. Much like MASH did all those years ago. What did you all think about tonight's episode? Did you think that it was poignant? Did you think that it got its point across? Do you think that Seth MacFarlane is going to get a chance to deliver a second season of these amazing episodes? Let me know. I'd love to continue this conversation down below. And of course, if you liked this review, give me a thumbs up, because last week's got 8. Let's see if we can get some more. And if this is the first time you're here, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you become part of our community here. One where I want to talk about stories. And since next week there's no episode of the Orville on, maybe we can just talk by me putting up the best comments I get down below. For now, I'd like to thank you for watching, though. And thank you for taking this walk with me through the heart of this very sad story. And thanks for watching. Good night.